What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to start the long process, hopefully not long, of wrapping my car. So this is my 93 Corvette, as most of y'all know. It is definitely far from perfect. As you can see, we got some spots right here that I'm gonna have to take care of on the hood. This right here. And there is a pretty big crack right here in the back fender. And this one is new. I really don't know how this one got there. But yeah, other than those spots, the car's pretty clean cosmetically. You know, there is still some stuff like that, and I'm just wanting to spice it up a little bit, so that is why I'm going to be wrapping it. But you obviously saw some of the spots need repaired, like the hood and the cracks. So that is what I have to get to first. And I have to fix those, prepare them for the wrap, and then actually wrap the car. I do have some experience with painting, but very little. And I wouldn't call myself a painter by any means. So I'm a complete beginner, going to be trying this at home in my garage. First things first though, the battery in it is dead, so I just picked up a new battery. So I'm gonna get it installed in there real quick. All right, so we got the battery in, but there's still one more thing we need to do. I really don't know why I did that. It sounds terrible. All right, so now that we got it in the shop, my master plan for this, like I already stated, I'm gonna try and chip off everything that's coming off from right here, and then try and get this as good as possible with body filler. But it's gonna be really tricky because of how big the area is, but I'm gonna try my best. And then same thing with little stuff like this, little chips. And with this right here, I'm actually going to try and use an epoxy and kind of just gobble it all over there, and then sand it to how I like it. But in order to do that, I'm gonna have to sand everything down to the glass pretty much, so everything will stick. And same with these cracks. This one, definitely gonna need to pull the rear bumper off. That way I can relieve some of the stress. As you can see, it's pulling away. So I'm gonna need to pull the rear bumper off real quick. And to do that, it's literally just 10mm bolts up under the bumper for the tail lights. And then I'll show you guys in a second. There's a bunch of 8mm all up and around here. So I'm actually gonna try and undo some of these 8mm bolts, like that one, and then all down here towards the end. That way, hopefully I can flip up the bumper a little bit and then remove this foam. So I got this half of the bumper disconnected, and it took all the stress off of that pretty much. So basically what I had to do was take these fender liner bolts out, and then the 8mm going across here, and now I'm about to go do the same for the other side. Well, it is not going too favorable for me with the car on the ground right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the back end jacked up and get the wheel off. That way it'll just make my life 10 times easier. All right, this is just part of the presents that you get when you buy something off of Facebook Marketplace. This is disgusting. I hope no one that watches this video ever does anything like this. This is, I am a professional mechanic for a living. I do precision work on like really expensive industrial equipment, and stuff like this just breaks my heart. Like, it would take 10 minutes or a few extra dollars to do this the right way. And what we have is a complete butcher that now I have to deal with. All right, so got this fender liner out, the bolts going on right here, but I still can't get the dang foam out, and I still have to get all the bolts up around here. So came, took the license plate out, these reverse lights out, and then I'm gonna grab that 10mm back here, and then that seems like that's what's holding the bumper towards the car. So hopefully after I loosen these, I should be able to push it out. All right, so I got her going pretty good. I don't know if you guys saw that in that little time lapse, but I was able to reach through the license plate hole, take out the tail lights, and then easily access all the bolts going around the edge back here. So it took me a while, but I got all of them out. So all I did to get this part down was I just pulled down on it and then out, and then all these studs pull out of the bumper. So I'm gonna do it on the other side real quick. And that's it. All right, excuse that. I had to get the light bulbs out real quick, but there she is. So now that we got the bumper off, I'm gonna go ahead and start sanding right here. It's gonna be pretty tricky, but I'm gonna try and get it down to the glass all around it. My plan is to just get it wet and then lay a bunch of glass all over it. Hopefully, when I get all this crap off of it, I will have a better view. Maybe I'm able to clamp it right there while everything dries. All right, so I finally got it where I wanted to. I may have went a little bit too far, but that's the good thing about fiberglass is I can literally cut this whole square out and then build myself another square. I'm going to run to the store real quick and get some stuff. Then I'm gonna start laying strips and applying resin. I am going to try and make some resin and the hardener, and then cut some strips cut of the fiberglass. That way I can lay it on there. All right, so as you guys can see in that video, in the time lapse, all I was doing was just laying the mats on here and then dabbing it on. I got the first one on video and then I did the rest. I think I did 4 layers, and then I'm gonna have to trim all this off and then sand it again. But it's been sitting for about 45 minutes. And it's pretty hard. I mean, I was tapping on it pretty hard just now. So what I think I'll do is I'll let this sit for probably until tomorrow. Might do a couple more sheets over top of it and then sand it all down and then put the filler on top. All right guys, so I'm back a couple days later, and I actually posted what I had done on a Corvette forum and asked, you know, if it was enough layers. And they were like, dude, that's polyester. You can tell by the color. They were like, it's polyester, it's not gonna stick. And they actually told me I was gonna have to grind it all off, and I wasn't looking forward to it, but I just came over here and it was pretty tough. I peeled it off by my hand, so they were not bullshitting me. You really do need SMC resin. It is expensive, but that's what I just got. So let me, I'm gonna go ahead and reapply some glass on here with the SMC and see what happens. All right, so I got I got it on there. Really hoping that I put enough of the hardener in there. It was pretty unclear on how much to use, but I think for the small amount of resin that I used, I put a generous amount of hardener, so we should be good. I'm also planning on reinforcing the backside of it too, but I just have to wait till it dries so I can press some stuff on there. My plan is to just get kind of like a flat piece of aluminum and then use the epoxy to adhere it to the backside of the surface. That it gives it some extra rigidity. But yeah, I also see why that cracked now is because the brace for the fender, it has like a little sliding adjuster on the nut, and it was pulled way back, so the bumper was getting pulled way back, put way too much stress on it. So what I'm gonna have to do is loosen that up, and then once I get the bumper back on, put it in the right position. That way it doesn't put any more stress on it. I actually might even stick it out some. That way there's no inward stress pulling in. But yeah, now it's time to do the other crack real quick. So I'll get a little bit more footage of that in detail, just so you guys can see the process that I'm taking. And this one's pretty little, but it is in a tough spot right here close to the door. So I'm gonna get this ground down and then the area sanded around it, and then I'll get to putting the resin on. All right, so I got this ground down past the layers, and I'm in the SMC right now. So I don't know if you guys can see that. The crack right here is highlighted. So I'm just gonna get some real small strips with the resin and dab it on there. Should be good. I don't know how well y'all can hear me, but I got my resin mixed up right here, and I'm gonna cut strips real quick. So that ought to be good. I'm gonna sand it regardless, so tap it on there. That was really generous, but get that pressed on and just pat her on there. All this excess I'm gonna try and sand off, so I'm not really too worried about that. And I'll probably only do like 2 sheets on this one since it's in a really low stress area. It doesn't need that much support. And then now that it's already wet, you just pat that on there. Keep dabbing our resin on it. All right, now just let it dry. All right, so while I'm letting that other stuff cure, I'm gonna go ahead and start sanding some spots that need it, like on the hood. And then you can kind of already see I got some done right here. I'm probably just gonna seal this right here. I might put a little bit of filler and then seal it. And then right here, I'm probably gonna I'll probably do it tomorrow, but I'll probably get a cardboard backer, like on the back of it, and then lay some matte down and then sand it to how I like it. Or I might try and get some really thick epoxy. All right, so I'm back the next day. Man, this stuff is rock solid. Couldn't have been more happy with it. I did kind of screw myself because I put this a little too low, but I'm gonna go ahead and sand these down on both sides, and then I have a plan for the hood. So I'm thinking, since I have a pretty decent filler and it looks like it's just missing these couple chunks out of the body line, I'm gonna try and just kind of glob some filler on here and onto the backside as well. That way I can kind of mold it once it hardens with the sander. All right, so I got everything sanded where I want it right here. So now it's time. I mean, it looks good to me, I don't know, but I believe it's time for the filler now. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the other side sanded, and then I'll do the filler. All right, everybody. So I'm here now. I'm about to apply this body filler. I got it mixed up pretty good, but now I'm just gonna spread it over the surface, try to get it as flush as I can. Take everything I say with a grain of salt because I've never done this before. All right, so this is day 3 of getting this fixed up. So yesterday I got the body filler on. Today I'm gonna sand it down this side right here, and then on the other side. This is what I ended up doing with the hood. So I just got 2 mats and folded them over the crease of the hood, kind of globbed a bunch of resin on there and even poured some in here so it would fill it up. I guess I'm gonna get the body filler sanded first because that's easier. I'm thinking just grind a bunch of this off right here because it is protruding quite a bit. There's honestly too much resin, but then try and conform this to the car. I got this sanded down. It's pretty freaking smooth. There are some like inconsistencies in it that will probably maybe show up through the wrap. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't want to get too crazy on it because it's honestly turned out already better than I thought. But yeah, I'm just gonna move on to the other side real quick and then we can work on the hood. Went ahead and got the hood molded down right here. There's little pockets, but mostly it's filled with resin, and I'll just literally just fill those with filler. Same with that one right there. Yeah, I pretty much was able to do this whole thing with the grinder. Just start putting filler around everywhere, and then I can actually put sealer on the back and then the side over there. But yeah, still got to filler all this, and that should be it. Day 4, trying to get this body work done. As y'all saw last night, I got the filler on right here. I might have to do a little bit more, unfortunately, because I still got like tiny little pockets. Right here, the main thing on the hood, I'm really hoping that I got enough on here because I ran out filler. So I'm really hoping I got enough on here to make this completely flat, but I'm gonna have to take a lot of material off to get it all completely flush. So just picked up some new sanding discs because I ran out. I got them sanded down pretty good. I just got to get around the edges right here, but as far as here, I think they're pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get some Bondo. That way, because I'm wanting something a little bit more pliable to fill in these little holes, because that stuff is really thick, so it's kind of hard to spread out evenly. All right, so I got my Bondo here. It's going to be much better for getting in those small little divots, and here, as you can see, much easier to work with. It's like it's a lot more watery than the other one, so it should work great. So I'm going to get it mixed up with a hardener and then get it on the car. All right, so we got the Bondo on here. Now I guess we're just gonna wait a little bit for it to harden. Shouldn't take too long. I went ahead and got a couple little spots that I needed to get anyways that had holes. Hopefully this turns out good right here. I went ahead and put some on here because I'm gonna try and flatten this out a little better. All right guys, we're on day 5. Bondo dried. Now I'm gonna get it sanded down. It looks pretty flat to me. I'm feeling pretty optimistic about it, so I'm gonna get it sanded down and then get that one in the back sanded down. Really all that's left is I'm going to spray sealer over all of it, sandpaper on the sealer once it dries. I'm probably gonna use like 600 grit on the sealer, and then also any spots of the clear coat that I hit by mistake with sandpaper, that'll probably get 600 grit as well, just so the wrap is able to actually stick to it pretty good. I'm gonna get this sanded down, get everything sprayed with the sealer, and then sand it, and then should be doing a final wash, little clay bar action, and then we should be able to get to wrapping. All right, so I got everything sanded. This I got about as close as I can to perfectly flat, although I know it's still not perfect. This one's way closer to flat. Maybe I will try and clean this up some more, but I did accidentally chip that little bit right there. So, and then I also forgot this little tiny bit right here. So I'm gonna mix a tiny bit more body filler, like literally a smudge of it. Yeah, other than that, man, we're pretty much ready to go. I got the sealer sprayed on in the places where I could. I'm letting that dry. It's gonna dry for 24 hours. So that's pretty much going to conclude the fiberglass and bodywork part of this project. So some things I did kind of want to touch on before I moved on was things like the sandpaper grit and everything, just so you guys have an idea if you're trying to attempt this yourself. Whenever I was removing anything, the layers, any body filler, anything like that, using something low like 80 grit. Anything really higher than that would just take forever, and you do have to go pretty low to get to the actual compound that you can apply glass to. So I will say look out for that. It was easier for me. I just used a flap disc on a grinder. It didn't take too much off to where it was dangerous, but it was pretty quick as far as removing everything that needed to be removed. Another thing that obviously you guys saw earlier in the video, I didn't know for this car, and I believe, I forget what years it are, I'll put it on the screen, but for certain years of Corvettes, you have to have sheet mold compound resin. You can't use polyester, it won't stick, because there's a mold preventative in this glass in this car that will release, and it will cause the polyester to separate from the body. So you need to use SMC resin. It is a little expensive. I paid like $100 for a quart of it, but it is absolutely necessary. I was told by several fiberglass guys that, you know, you need this stuff for it to hold. And so far it's holding great. I'm excited to see once I get some stress on the car and driving it and put the bumper back on, how it's gonna hold, but I'm pretty confident in it. This was my first time doing it, and I don't think it turned out too terrible. I'm pretty excited to see how everything holds up. Before I sprayed anything or applied anything, I always used at least, you know, 180 grit. After I ground something down or removed stuff with 80 grit, always did 180 or 220 over top of it. That way everything has a good, you know, scuffed up but smooth surface to adhere to, like the sealer, the filler, the fiberglass itself, the resin. Another thing is I was pretty sterile about it. Every time I ground or sanded something, like, I spent a good amount of time, you know, cleaning it off, wiping it with water, letting it dry. And maybe that's a rookie thing on me, is wiping it with water, but that's what I did, like a damp towel to wipe everything off, blew it off with air multiple times, then wiped it down with a towel, just so there was absolutely no dust or anything that would prevent it from actually sticking and adhering. Because obviously, you know, once I get the wrap on, you know, I'm not gonna want to take it off to go redo my work. I hate double work. I can't stand double work. If I will do whatever it takes to not do double work. That's why I did the polyester resin, and then I had to spend $100-something on SMC resin just so I didn't have to go back and do it later. But yeah, it definitely seemed pretty daunting to me at first, but once I got down to it, like, this was a super simple project. I believe any of you guys, if you follow the steps, like, pretty much that I did, I mean, obviously, if you don't want to take my word, it's okay. This is my first time, but I think it turned out pretty decent, and this is my absolute first time doing any body work. I've only done engine work and things like that. I think this turned out pretty solid. I'm excited to see what the wrap looks like, and if you guys have any questions about what I did or any of the materials I used, please let me know in the comments, and let me know what you want to see out of this car, and I'll try and get it done in the future, because after I get it wrapped, like, I really don't know what else to do besides, like, fix things on it. Yeah, other than that, thank you guys for watching. This was a super fun project for me so far. I can't wait to see how the wrap turns out, and yeah, I'll see you guys.